Welcome back. You're still watching Perspective. Back to the forum. I understand there is also a security side to the discussion.
Yes, we've been talking a lot about the economic, and we've talked a bit about sort of areas like education and so on. Yeah. But yes, we're going to have a discussion around security. We have
what particularly in security?
Well, I mean, this is an interesting thought here, and it's a little bit broader in security, is that both Canada and Indonesia are maritime countries.
Yes.
And I mean, you have a huge maritime domain. Mm-hmm. Canada is a large country with a huge coastline.
Right.
And so we face some of the same issues. Not precisely the same, mm-hmm. but some of the broad challenges, mm-hmm. Things like sovereignty issues, particularly in our far north.
Yeah.
We both have huge fishing grounds that we need to govern.
Supervise, sort of.
That's right. There are things like infrastructure challenges that have to do with water and mm-hmm. bridges and ports and so on. So, but we also have security issues in those areas, particularly in our far north. We want to maintain the control of the oceans that over which we have sovereign control. So we are having one of our lead speakers will be, in addition to our Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, mm-hmm. who's coming here for this conference, the commander of our Canadian Navy, our Royal Canadian Navy is here. Right. And he's going to talk a bit about sort of maritime security from a Canadian perspective. Right. And Rizal Sukma is going to talk about maritime security in the South China Sea.
Maritime is also a priority for this present government for us.
So we do think that in having that conversation, there will be some natural kind of connecting points that will come out of that, which will suggest some areas of development. But security, from our point of view, we make a lot of our trading in Asia. Mm-hmm. And we all know that in order to do economic business, you have to have peace and security and stable region. And so Canada needs, in my view, and I think in the view of many, to be just a bit more engaged in terms of its security participation and interest here in the region. A lot is happening, particularly from the Navy side. Right. And it's very, very good connections with Indonesia and other countries. But I hope our discussion around security, particularly in this area and the challenges that Indonesia faces, will come up with some fresh ideas for Canada to be a little more present and working with Indonesian government.
And you also have a workshop on the sideline of this forum?
It's a workshop on governance. It's not officially part of the forum. It's a separate event. Right.
What is it going to address governance in that sense?
We've long had a development assistance program here in Indonesia. Mm-hmm. Sulawesi, for example, has been our region of concentration with the agreement of your government. Yeah. So a lot of the work that's now going on is in sort of building capacity, economic capacity, entrepreneurialism, and so forth.
All right.
Through our aid program or development assistance program, also in areas of democratic development, going back to governance institutions and so on. So our workshop is going to just take that little piece of our relationship and just look at it a little more carefully outside of the forum itself.
Or is it reassessing it?
We've got 2 or 3 speakers from each side that will talk about a few of the projects that are now going on, and we hope that discussion will then kind of create some new ideas, some additional ideas. I mentioned earlier we're a federal state, you're a federal state. Yeah. I mean, are there things that we can learn from each other there? We all face issues of transparency in government, and there is a project now looking at all of that. We also have parliamentary systems that and a very well-developed public service. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some interest in the Indonesian side in developing closer ties with our public service and its as an institution and how it serves government and the people. Right. I think it's got some potential.
There's another thing that I want to ask is like a lot of people when they see Indonesia, they also connect with things ASEAN, for example. With ASEAN, with the region. I mean, is that included in what you're going through?
Well, our ambition at the start of this project was in fact to have a bit of a component on sort of Indonesia as a gateway to ASEAN. Because we very much believe that as the major player in ASEAN and as the, as the unofficial leader in ASEAN in so many ways. I think we'll still try and do some of that, maybe in the security discussion particularly, but also in the economic.
Right.
Because, I mean, a number of Canadian company interests in Indonesia are driven by the fact that Indonesia represents 40% of the ASEAN economy.
Yeah, yeah.
And at a time when ASEAN is creating this new economic union by the end of the year,
Start.
we hope that some of these channels that are that we are rebuilding now with Indonesia will provide ways to attack, to get at the broader ASEAN community.
Right. Okay. I think our time's up. I had a nice discussion. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you next time.